partial government shutdown is going well into the Christmas season. There's still no word when it'll end, but it's possible that it might go into the new year. Another U.S. leader is leaving the White House, and it's sooner than anticipated. A Washington native is taking his place. And leaving out milk and cookies for Santa Claus is a well-known tradition, but do you know where it came from? We looked into the history behind it.
Good morning and happy Christmas Eve. I'm Taylor Vito. Brittany is off this week, and Jen, well, she's taking over in the Weather Center. And on that note, we want to check out how things are going. And Jen, you know, around the holidays, day like now, a lot of people traveling, especially over mountain passes.
That's right. All eyes are on the weather this morning, especially for our holiday travelers. Very foggy to start our Monday morning. Let's take a look over downtown Spokane right now. You can see the skate ribbon. We were just down there this weekend. It's so much fun this time of year, but boy, this morning it is going to be foggy, and that fog will stick around likely throughout much of our morning. Taking a look at our satellite radar right now, foggy conditions in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but south into the Palouse and into the North Idaho Panhandle down into central Idaho, we're looking at rain and snow showers this morning. Very active this morning, but this will be tapering off over the next 4 hours or so. So that is something we will of course be tracking, especially if you plan to hit the road this morning. Expect some tricky conditions and slippery roads in those areas. Taking a look at our visibility, we're talking about that fog. Really dicey along the I-90 corridor as you head out west from Spokane and down into the Palouse. You're seeing those areas where that storm system is right now, where those rain and snow showers are mixed. You can see down into the Blue Mountains, into the Palouse, in Moscow and Pullman as well. Keep that in mind if you are hitting the road. Again, this will be tapering off as we get into our later morning hours, but this morning just plan for some slick roads. And we also have this winter weather advisory for the area shaded in purple. That is in place until 9 a.m. We're expecting up to 3 inches of snow in some places. I will be tracking where the snow is falling and the trickiest areas to watch out for your commute coming up in just a few minutes. Here at 5:02, let's check in with Amber Russ-Bachon for a look at our morning commute.
Good morning. Well, the Adams Street construction project is done for the season, and that means there will be no parking or lane restrictions on West First Avenue in downtown Spokane. So good news for anyone who typically drives through that area for their morning commute, and it does look like construction will start up again in March. That's all I have for now, so I will go ahead and send it back to the studio.
Amber, sounds good. Thank you. Well, after failed negotiation attempts, the government reached a partial shutdown this weekend. It remains in effect after funding expired for roughly a quarter of the federal government. Now, it's not clear when it will reopen. The partial shutdown won't have much of an effect on holiday plans. The post office will stay open, TSA agents will still work, and air travel will not be impacted. Of course, government employees who are considered essential, such as many Secret Service agents, Border Patrol, and U.S. troops will also be working. But a shutdown creates a risk for hundreds of thousands of federal workers. 400,000 furloughed federal workers will receive their last paycheck of the year on Friday, but after that, it's unknown until the government reopens. Those who work will get paid eventually, but depending on how long the shutdown lasts, they could still miss a paycheck.
This is what Washington looks like when you have a president who refuses to sort of go along to get along. It's very possible that this shutdown will go beyond the 28th and into the new Congress.
The shutdown surrounds the president's $5 billion demand for a border wall. The Senate Democratic leaders offered $1.3 billion, but the president denied the offer, triggering the shutdown. The acting chief of staff says the White House presented Democratic leaders a counteroffer, and they're still waiting for a response. But until a deal is reached, the government will remain shut down. Another shakeup in the White House this week. U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis is leaving at the end of this year. That's 2 months earlier than expected. The abrupt exit comes just days after the general resigned. In his resignation letter, Mattis appeared to criticize the president's approach to world affairs. His leave was in protest over the president's decision to pull U.S. troops out of Syria. He was scheduled to leave the White House at the end of February. President Trump confirmed on Twitter that Deputy Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan will take over as acting Defense Secretary. Shanahan is actually from Seattle. He assumes the position starting on New Year's Day.
I think the relationship between these two men had been fraying. I think the president no longer relied on Mattis to be able to deliver the president's vision.
Shanahan is a former Boeing executive. He has no military experience, but he's been working closely with President Trump. He's been working to develop the president's Space Force. The search for a permanent replacement is still in the works. The president will reportedly focus on candidates from outside the government. Well, we want to get you up to speed with your national headlines. Just days after her surgery, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is up and working again. A spokesperson said she's still in the hospital as she recuperates from her surgery. Ginsburg underwent surgery Friday to remove 2 malignant tumors from her left lung. Doctors say there's no evidence of any remaining disease. She has been treated for cancer before. Despite her health problems, she has never missed Supreme Court arguments. The court is scheduled to meet next on January 7th. The body of a 7-year-old girl who died while in custody of the Border Patrol has arrived back home to Guatemala. Authorities are investigating her cause of death. Earlier this month, she traveled nearly 2,000 miles with her dad from a remote village in Guatemala to the U.S. Her family says the pair was seeking a better life away from the turmoil at home. Her case has quickly gained national attention from critics of the border wall and the president's immigration policies. The results of her autopsy are expected to be revealed in coming weeks. An FBI agent who accidentally shot a man while dancing will not face jail time. He struck a plea deal with prosecutors. He was sentenced to 2 years of probation. Now, the incident happened back in June at a bar in Denver. That video you see right there of him dancing went viral. The whole thing happened when the agent did a backflip and his gun fell onto the ground. When he tried to pick it up, he accidentally shot a man in the leg. On top of probation, he will be paying more than $1,600 in fines. Over in Indonesia, efforts to find survivors continue after a massive tsunami hit there this weekend. The tsunami is being blamed for 280 deaths, and that number is still rising. The powerful waves destroyed hundreds of homes and buildings. It also hit without warning during a concert and killed 4 band members. Rescuers are digging to search for survivors. Popular resort areas were also hit. The tsunami hit while preparations for Christmas were underway. Authorities are blaming a volcano for the cause of the tsunami. Experts say there may have been a massive landslide, but researchers say there was no warning that the tsunami was coming. They say there wasn't much that could have been done to avoid it. Well, we're taking a live look now at a mass held for victims of the tsunami. It's during a Christmas mass. Many people have gathered to pray for loved ones who have been lost. Well, after countless delays at London's Gatwick Airport during the busy holiday season, police are still looking for the people who flew drones over the airport. Police reported that they arrested 2 suspects who were eventually cleared. However, authorities are back to finding new leads now. Many flights were delayed because of reports of 2 drones flying over the airport's airfield. It also took a financial toll on the airport. Since then, the runways have reopened, but the airport is still seeing effects of the delays. It is 5:07 right now. The end of the year is a time to look forward to the new year, but it can also be a time to reflect. Here at KREM 2, we've reflected on some of the top moments we saw in our community this year.
Taking a live look over downtown Spokane, a bit foggy to start the work week, but hey, we have some sunshine possible for Christmas Day. I'll tell you what's in store up ahead.